Alright, so welcome to the video. I am Rob and this is James.
Hello.
We both work at Simply Business and we are making this video as a bit of a live coding session. The reason we brought it out is that there are a lot of videos out there where people are either building something completely from scratch, where they're not having to work with any legacy code or code that other people have written, very useful. And then the other kind of video that we often see is videos where people are working on code that they haven't written, or people have sent in code to be refactored, for example, but they've also had the chance to review it beforehand. And when watching these people, it's quite easy to think that they have some magic ability to understand exactly what's happening and what needs to be changed, when really it's probably because they've spent a little bit of time reviewing the code and it's not been so on the spot. So we wanted to create this video. I have found an open source project which I'll link to in the description. James, I have told you that this is a Rails backend and a React front end. Do you know anything else from that?
No, I can see what's on the screen. I can see something about stories, but other than that, I have no idea what's going on.
Perfect. And just to introduce James, by the way, so he's one of our engineering leads.
Yep, I've been here for a little while. Loving it. It's a great place to work. Just, plugging the company as well. But yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing other than I'm going to be looking at some code, and Rob wants me to do something about it. So never looked at the code before. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this goes as well.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So you can see the screen. I forgot that I did a little bit of a clickbaity example of one of the posts here. I did mention also that it's a clone of a website earlier, and the website we're cloning, or has been cloned, is Medium. So somebody's created pretty much a clone of Medium. It's got a Rails backend, a React front end. It's not a massive project, but obviously there is a fair bit of complexity, and it's a fully functioning website. It's got Elasticsearch. It's got Redis, so lots going on, enough that it can be quite juicy. And I've got a feature that I would like you, James, to build. And I don't know how far we're going to get into the coding. Some of the value I hope to bring out of this is asking you questions about what you're doing and why. So please don't get frustrated with me if I keep interrupting you.
That's cool.
And it sounds a bit like an interview where they say it's not about completing it, it's about showing you're working. So if I click on the page here, the feature that I was thinking is that here there's a UI where you can see posts that you've made, and you've got this tell your story button. Now if you pop something here, I can't currently see anywhere that you can post. What you have to do is you have to go to full screen, and then it brings up with the more familiar, if you've ever written a Medium blog, more familiar layout where you can enter a title and then your stuff here, and then you can click publish, and if you can choose your tags, and then you published. Couldn't update the post. Please try again.
You tell me. Did you add a title? I can't remember.
Alright, cool. Yeah, I might not have added the title. That might be why. Live coding. Cool. So that's how we successfully published it. And then we go here. We should see that here as well. Perfect. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to add a button so that you can publish from here. And I'm assuming that we're also going to need to somehow get the title in there as well.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, yeah, we're going to have to add in the title somehow, and add in, because obviously I can add in that button, and then it will just go to the error page, I assume, assuming I can actually add that button here and make it post. So, yeah, I mean, looking at this, I don't know anything about it, I'm going to have to look at the code, but yeah, I don't think it'll be too difficult. It depends on how this is built as well. It could be built in a way that it's not going to allow us to do this without considerable refactoring. But we can give it a go and see if it'd be nice if that's just a component I can plop onto this extra form. And also good to see kind of where this goes. Does it post to a different location, or is this essentially the same form, but this button is a bit like a preview button or something like that? It's interesting. You can just click that, because that's just. Yeah, you click that, and then whatever's in here. So this must be well, this is React, isn't it? So who knows? Go back. I don't know what I just did. Okay. Yeah. So let's load up the code, have a look, and I can probably figure out what needs to be done at the extent of what we need to do.
What before we unleash you on the code, what are the questions that you're going into the code? What is it that you're hoping to find out?
the feasibility of doing this to start with. Just because I haven't seen this code base at all, I don't even know how possible this is without looking at the code. So if I was doing this in a real life situation, usually
real life.
but if I was doing this with a product manager, and other stakeholders, I'd probably go and have a look, see the feasibility of it, just have a look at the code base. Probably already know the code base if I was working on it, and then I can give a kind of a rough idea of, this is going to take us months to do, or this is just a easy add. So that's the kind of thing that I would be going in to see, just to see the feasibility to start with. How I'd actually kind of do it, I'd probably come back out and then have a think about that. So
when you're saying you're gonna, I got the sense that you were saying you wanted to see how this kind of works here. Am I right? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but am I right in thinking that what you're probably going to do is go into the code base and just see what's happening, how it's doing all of the different things?
Yeah, I'm just going to read.
Yeah, okay. So before we do anything, your process is, let me just really familiarise myself with what's going on here. Yeah,
because again, I don't know this code base, don't know. I'd rather learn a little bit before I even start designing anything. Because if I say, okay, cool, so I'm going to add this, I'm going to reuse that component that is already a component, and then plop it on this box here, which is definitely a box that allows me to put extra buttons in. There's no constraints on this, and it even allows me to choose to put a button on the right, for example. And this little area allows you easily to add extra form fields. Then I've designed something, but I haven't actually gone and looked at the code to see if that's even possible. Do I need to rewrite this? Am I going to have to write a brand new component to handle this new feature that we're going to do? So yeah, that's why I don't even start designing before I know what I'm doing, because otherwise I'll just waste my time.
Okay, so let's unleash you then.
Cool.
Free reign on the.
I haven't even loaded this up. I hope everyone can see this. Where is it? Where is the project?
It's in Documents, Projects, and then Stories.
So Documents, Projects, and then
Stories.
All right, in here. Cool. Okay, so let me slide this a little bit. Oops, that's not where I want to go. So let's just get in here first. I'm just going to get in here, get in the gem file. So
you go to the gem file first?
No, I don't. I just need to get in the file. So what I'll normally do, so let's say, I have no idea where this is. So let's have a quick look around the project. Come on. So it's going to be, because I know it's a Rails project, you've already told me that. So actually what I'd normally do is go to the view straight away. I don't know if this is me being originally a front-end engineer, and then I'm just going to have a look at it. Nope, it's not that. Because I'm assuming this is an index page. So yeah, what I'd normally do is go from the front back to try and figure out the stuff. And in fact, I could, because this is React. How is it set up with React is the question. Is it in here? Oh, it is. Okay. Components. Let's see if there's a publish. Is it buttons? Bookmark, like, add tag. Okay. Form. Let's go back out. Is there something else? Components, initializes, and page. What's this pages? Editor. That sounds interesting. Ooh. This is React. Are you sure?
No. I just actually, now I think about it, I just remember reading. I didn't even massively look into the front end.
That's cool. We can keep going. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, if it's React, I can just start inspecting. Let's have a look. I mean, I could probably do that if I was React anyway, but let's have a quick look, see what we've got in here. So we just got a form. That's cool. Okay, and then there's a form. Edit a form. Okay, let's open up this over to the side. Layouts, pages. So we do have a page. There's an editor page. That's already open. Sorry. Is there a view inline editor? Ooh, what's this? No, it wasn't inline editor. Okay. What else we got? Response editor. Some style sheets. I want a view. Layouts, posts, response editor. I miss that. What is this? That's the layout for that and that. No, because this is just like this little bit here. Alright, let's have a look up a bit. So this is definitely something that's included on the page. Well, you would hope so. Let's have a main dashboard, fade up, fade down, inline editor. Oh! That's that. Cool.
Okay,
Cool.
so here what you did was you found something that was visible on the page. You found the class name, and then you
Oh, the ID.
the ID.
Yeah.
Sorry,
This stuff here.
okay, so you found the ID, and then assuming that somewhere on the front end they're declaring a component or whatever that has an ID, so that we can then work our way backwards.
Yep, exactly. So I found that. I can see now there's 2 buttons there. They just look like buttons. One's a submit button submitting this form, which goes to post, create, and edit path. So what I do now I know that, is I just go look at that. Because that form is essentially the same as this form. This is the inline editor. There's probably another editor on there that is a bit more fully fledged, and that probably has everything I want already. So I can just borrow that. Post, create, and edit path.
Just noticed my laptop's not in charge, so I'm going to pop that in there before we run out of battery.
So it's create and edit. All right. Posts, create and edit. Why is there no view? It's a post. So post, and then what does the post do? So let's have a look at the posts controller. Cool. Posts.
Sorry, this might be a stupid question, but why are you in the post controller? Because you're assuming that because is there something that you're looking at that's tenuous to the post controller?
Yeah. So this is post, create, and edit path. So I went and looked where that is. So this is here, and then that tells me that's in the post controller.
Okay.
So I want to see, because this is doing a post to that, and then there's doing some kind of redirect. There's no view for this action, so that means it's probably doing a redirect of some sort.
Okay.
And so where is this going? This is going to create and edit. Oh, down there somewhere. Create and edit. Yeah, redirect to edit post. Okay, so now we know that. Edit post. Or, hold on. Post, edit. Yep. And then this one has a form of some sort. Form. So the form is here. And is this the thing? Title. Yeah. And then this does a new post. So the question is that object the same? So let me explain that a little bit. So this has a post here, a post object, and this has a new post object. I'm wondering, are they the same thing? Because if they're the same thing, you've got body and body here. It is a case of just copying and pasting that to there, and the publishing isn't on here. So that's a bit more difficult.
Ooh.
Which is what you actually want.
Yeah.
Where is that? Okay, so we've got that far at least, so we've got some information. I'm going to open up a new layer, which in this is basically just a different area I can look at stuff. So let's look for publish button.
If you're not familiar, this is the world of Emacs.
Spacemacs as well.
Spacemacs as well.
So let's just get back to that page so I can have a look at it. Because that does look like it's kind of outside of this thing, isn't it? So let's have a look at that. So publish button. Okay, I mean that could be quite easy to find if it's that easy.
So far you found we think we found the code that is actually posting, or the form that's posting. We've noticed that it doesn't have the publish button, which is obviously what we're trying to steal and put on the initial page.
Yep.
So now we're playing around and trying to find where the publish button is.
Yep. Because that might be doing something special. Who knows what that's doing? Because if it was a case of it was inside the form and it's just a button up there, and all it's doing, I mean, it does do that, but then what does that do? Does that then somehow post this form, or is it doing something special? Because you have this form here. You have this. So it's created a post at this point, which is this, and then it's just. I imagine it's setting a flag on that post to say publish. And this looks like this is. Should we have a look at the network?
I was just thinking that.
We just do that. Does that? Yeah, that's just like updating it as an. View this one's on. Yeah, that's just like real-time editing, right?
So just for the benefit of the people, what were you doing with the network tab here?
I'm looking at. So if I make a change here, does it then automatically save? You can kind of see this little thing that's telling us performance stuff. Basically, I want to see how this saves, how this form saves, and it looks like it's auto-saving by the fact that I've changed something and then I come out of it and it makes a request. And does it do it? It just does it. It just waits for me to stop typing. So once I've stopped typing, it sends a request and then save this form. So it automatically kind of posts this form. Cool. Fancy. Okay. So that's interesting. Well, kind of. Because yeah, this is a lot simpler than that. Okay, let's go back. Let's try and find this publish. Hold on. I'm gonna have to. Hopefully this works. I can see an error down there. I haven't installed searching on your computer. Okay, that's fine. We can probably find it. Publish. Maybe. Where's it gone? Let's look at it again. So publish button. Okay, it's in like a navigation of some sort. So you'd assume if you went navigation, menu. Let's go back to nav. There's something there.
I think you misspelled menu just in case that didn't come up because of that.
Menu. Nope. Nav. Just an animation. Okay. Another way to figure this out would be let's go into because I just know that generally stuff for layouts and things would normally be in here. You'd hope it'd be around here somewhere. Okay, so we've got some stuff. Notifications container. It's not that. Search control container. So what have we got here? There's the notifications, I'm assuming, and that is a React component by the looks of it. There you go. Yeah, that is. So it's got some like a little bit of
sprinkling of React.
Sprinkling of React on top. Nice. Okay.
So I wasn't wrong.
No, you weren't wrong. At least it's got some. I mean, that's good. But now we found this as well. It looks like this isn't the same navigation either. Yeah, this is folding nav. This is not folding nav. Yeah, this is not folding nav. Okay, so we've got two different navs. But there's probably a different. There we go. Edit header. Yay, you found it.
Okay, so hang on. How did you find this? And what were you trying to do? And then how did you find this?
So I was trying to find So I knew that these are two different headers. So this one, the other file I found, so it's got to be somewhere else, and it's still going to be in the layout. But so as soon as I checked the file listing, I was either looking for an editor layout. So there is one there, but then I kind of also looked. Is there any more headers? And there was symbol header, and there was editor header, and there was admin header. And because we're looking at editor, it makes sense that it'd be there. So
there's something that you've done a few times so far, and I've seen lots of developers do this. And when I first started, I really didn't consider this as like a fruitful option, but you're kind of looking, where you think things would be. Like if you think there's a header, let's just see if there's a header, and then so there's a little bit of shooting, not blind because you're kind of an educated guess, but it seems to be that you're quite comfortable going, okay, let's just if we think there's going to be a header, usually people call it a header. Let's just try and find a header.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? Saves us like just sitting here wondering, and it's the same with like writing and things. It's best to just start writing rather than just sit around thinking like how do I start? Just start and just try and look for something, and like it doesn't even matter if you're wrong, because you can go down generally the rabbit holes. You're going to go down some kind of rabbit hole, but you'll find something in the end. It may take you longer than than you think, but you'll generally find something, and you'll probably learn stuff on the way as well, which is kind of cool. Okay, so to sum up, so far we started and we wanted to familiarise ourselves with the code and how it's working before we even made a decision on anything. We found the form that is actually submitting the form where we're entering the data. We realised that every time we type or every time we stop typing, it's automatically saving that post. And then but we also noticed there's a publish button that's not part of that form. So you've found the publish button now through a bit of like educated guessing and just having to play around with the code base. Yep. What now? Now I found it. I mean, I'm just going to I'm looking at it right now to see if there's any kind of inkling of how it publishes, because I don't think we're even close to figuring out the feasibility of this. So we found a publish button. We don't know how this works because this is just a button here. It says it toggles a thing. This thing toggles, and then there's a button, and that button has a behavior which is a publish button. No, hold on. Where am I? Ready to publish, and then publish button. Just go back to the UI to see what. Yeah, that is the right button. Okay, and so this has a behavior. I don't know what behavior is, but that says it publishes it. So I want to figure out what that does, because does that submit the form with some magic? Does it just know how to submit the form? Because there's no inkling of it telling you what post to publish. Say you had multiple posts on the page. I guess it assumes there is some kind of data on the page.
Well, there's only one field. There's only one field where you can actually enter the text, isn't there?
Yeah, there's only this one form, so you'd assume that it's doing that. But who knows? It could be taking this thing from the URL and then doing that. Yeah, because
that's probably more likely, actually, isn't it? Because if it's automatically creating the post when you stop typing, am I understanding that right? In that it's when you stop typing, it saves the post or update and then updates it if it's already existing. So assuming it's doing.
Yep, exactly. And so this one just, I assume, does a different. If I publish this and have a look, it's just going to redirect, isn't it? So I'm not going to be able to see it. But do we have a terminal? Is this the terminal?
Yes, that is the that's the terminal.
Cool. All right, let's publish it. See what happens. Okay, so it did some stuff. Did a redirect. Can I make this full screen?
Yep.
Okay, so So I did a post with a title body, and that's interesting. So it did include. That's good news. So it's it looks like it's posting the form. Yeah, rather than just taking that ID.
Okay.
So that's good.
So it is somehow identifying where the form is, and then I suppose it's just probably hard coded somewhere, isn't it? And then
well, yeah, it's probably like it assumes it only has one form on the page, and it must be the form that you're publishing, maybe. But yeah, let's have a look at this publish button thing. Whoa, what happened there? Hold on, I haven't got searching in here, have I? Yeah, normally I would go and do a. I might be able to do a search actually. Search. Smart search. Okay, this is working. What's this publish button? Okay. So on click, what do you do?
So here you've just found. How did you find the on click? Sorry, kind of.
So. You've got this data behavior thing here, which has a string publish button, and so I searched that string across the entire project to see where it's been used. If I do that, it should. Nope, that's a different thing. Okay, I'll do it again. So searching across the whole project. If I do publish button, you can see all the places where that string is used, and so it's got a hover effect and it's got a on-click effect. It's used in the header twice. No, once. That's a class. And it's got some CSS as well. And then I guess this is some caching. So if I go to the on-click bit, you can see that it does editor form.submit. And then if we go back to the thingy-mabob, hold on, I'll go back to the page now. So if we look at this is probably, edit form.
Okay.
So it does exactly what I said. It does exactly what you thought. I mean, at this point, in terms of the functionality, I think we could add this in. I'm saying that. No, one other thing. Let's just double check what this is called. If this is editor form as well, which it probably isn't. Oh, it is. Look at that. It's like it was made to do this. Yeah. So with that in mind, I mean, you could just plop this. What's it called? Plop. This one on the page, essentially. I mean, that's not how I do it, but you could essentially do that. So this would be this piece of code does work when we put it on the other form, basically.
Okay. Well, I think so. This video, obviously, it's not so much about getting code that's working. It was more, popping an experienced developer in front of a code base that they don't know and seeing their thought process and how they went about that. So I think that's been really useful up until this point. again, it sounds a bit like an interview kind of talk. But what would you do from here if you had if you had more time? What would your next steps be?
So my first thing would be run tests if there are any. Run specs, see what kind of specs there are. If there's, because there could be some kind of integration tests that are expecting or not expecting certain buttons on certain pages. So it could be like it's only expecting there to be these 2 buttons, and then it's like, oh, there's a publish button as well. So that's the first thing. If this is all good, let's say there are some tests that have, like a kind of an end-to-end capybara type test for how this thing works. So you should be able to go to full screen. You can do cancel, and then when you do the things, it does the things. I could probably add in another one that says it expects there to be a publish button, and then I add the publish button in, and then I say expect when you click the publish button, it opens up that functionality. Hopefully, I can kind of just copy a test that already exists for this one. Not this one. That's gone. The other. Let's just go to it. This one. So hopefully there will be some kind of functional test that lets me just use that and say this publish button works as it works. It's kind of a nice component that I can just put anywhere, and it has its test already. So I'll plop that on the test into the other test, and then I'd probably, first of all, because this is now a shared thing, I'd pull this out into a shared location. I think there is already like a shared views, so I could just put it in there. Yeah, so I can just put this extra on in there as a publish button, and then include that here, and then make sure that doesn't break that test as well, and then add it in the other one. See if my test passes. It's all good. Load up in the browser, run it, and see if it worked, and try it out. It'll probably look bad because it's probably in the wrong position. But at that point, I could probably do some styling, do some CSS, put it in the right position. The other thing that we didn't talk about, but it looks like it will just work out the box, is putting the title on that page. So again, I'll just copy paste. Where is it? Just copy paste that into there. It looks like, I'm just going to do it because I want to see. It looks like that would just, it just work, right? So if I go to stories, it sort of works. It's got a title, right? So it wasn't too bad. And then let's assume we do this. See if this works. There you go, it worked. So yeah, that looked like it was all set up to, probably they built this one first and then they built this little one second.
Yeah.
Because like someone probably was like, oh, it'd be really nice if you could start your story on here. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. And yeah, so that's about it really. And then you'd have that button there. It would hopefully work. In the case that it doesn't work, then that's a different story.
Yeah. And then then the whole debugging process. But okay, cool. So yeah, I think that's been a really useful insight. Might get you back in the future to do another feature or another test if that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, so I'll try and do some more of these. So if you found it useful, then come back and we'll hopefully have some more content for you, doing something similar in the future. I think actually I think we did well in the 30 minutes. It's a good. I think you did a good. We managed to identify the actual code quite quickly, which was good. So yeah, went well. So thank you very much for your time, James.
No worries.
And hopefully see you again soon.
All right. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.